Hi, I'm Dr. Dave Janda. Welcome back to the Insider Insight Show. I'd like to thank you for subscribing to our platform and thank you for networking this information to anyone and everyone you know. Our goal is to provide you information and guess and analysis that the bought-off lamestream fake media will never present, will never touch. And today is no different. I am honored to have two incredibly patriotic, courageous Americans who have put their lives on the line for not days, not weeks, but years, in providing information that the deep state and their tentacle, the bought-off lamestream fake media, will not go near. It's my honor to have with me today Mary Fanning and Alan Jones. This is their first time with us on our platform, and I hope that we will have more discussions to come because the information they provide, again, the bought-off lamestream fake media will not touch. Let's do a background on both Mary and Alan. First, Mary. Mary Fanning is an investigative journalist covering national security. Mary is known for her series, The Betrayal Papers, that exposed the that could have been about Bill Clinton, actually. But anyway, The Betrayal Papers that exposed the infiltration of the Muslim Brotherhood into the highest levels of American government. Did the bought-off lamestream fake media? How about Rachel Maddow? Did she ever present anything on it? No, I know. The six-part series exposed the influence the Muslim Brotherhood exerted over the Obama administration, members of Congress, and on American policies, foreign and domestic. Fanning exposed the penetration by Qatar, home of the Muslim Brotherhood, into the U.S. universities and corporate America in her series Qatar Awareness. Mary Fanning has collaborated with investigative journalist Alan Jones, who also joins us today, breaking a series of national security stories. Let me just give you several that they've been involved with, and some of we're going to touch on today. Fanning and Jones uncover the connections between rogue Iraqi nuclear physicist Dr. Jafari Dia-Jafar and Port Canaveral's 2014 Project Pelican cargo container terminal lease to Gulftainer, where the Obama administration, you'll find this shocking, bypass the required national security threat analysis review. Folks, by so doing, they put you, they put your family, and they put everyone you know and every American in harm's way, yet again. Just as a thumbnail to whet everyone's appetite for when we come back and do another show on this, Alan and Mary, could you give us a thumbnail sketch of Gulftainer and the importance it has for every American's safety and security?
We did a series of papers, occasional papers for they can be found at the Center for Security Policy. The Perfect Storm being one of them. What this is, Project Pelican, was a 35-year lease that was given to a company, Gulftainer, for the cargo container terminal at Port Canaveral. Port Canaveral is where Air, Sea, and Space Command reside.
Now, what year was that?
This was in 2014. It was under a secret deal named Project Pelican.
So this is Obama administration?
This is the Obama administration. Okay. When we looked into who, they announced the deal and signed the deal all in one day, bypassing Florida's sunshine laws for open bidding. When we looked into Gulftainer, we found that the owners and his brother, the Jafar brothers, had worked in concert with Saddam Hussein. One was under investigation at Congress for funding Saddam's nuclear weapons programs, his WMD programs, chemical, biological, and nuclear. His brother, Dr. Jafar Dia-Jafar, was Saddam Hussein's nuclear mastermind, known for the miniaturized nuclear weapon. That was very disturbing to find that the Obama administration had given Gulftainer a 35-year lease. Then we found that they had no CFIUS review, no national security threat analysis to decide who these people were, should they be coming inside our borders, inside the wire, so to speak. Then we found that they were in a joint venture with Russia for the exporting of something known as the Club K. The Club K appears to be a standard intermodal cargo container, yet it opens up via control by a satellite and launches caliber missiles that can have nuclear warheads, biological, chemical, or an EMP. So imagine the Obama administration puts inside the wire a nuclear mastermind who has been declared He was on the CIA's blacklist, wanted for capture or kill, so a declared enemy of the United States, a nuclear mastermind brought inside the wire, who's in a joint venture with Russia that gives a system that can launch internally nuclear, biological, chemical weapons when our radar is all pointed north or east, so anything launched from inside the country cannot be managed or protected from. Now, these cargo containers, they leave Port Canaveral or wherever they come in, there's 10 to 20 million every year. Less than 1% are hand-checked. And once inside, there's nothing you can do about it. So imagine that's a man working with Russia who's a nuclear mastermind having access to the entire country through cargo containers that launch these WMD.
Okay, so the only person I haven't heard right now on this particular aspect are the Clintons, Hillary Clinton. Is there some kind of tie to the Clintons with these guys?
Very much so. They were working in concert with the Jafars.
Who? The Clintons?
Yes, the Clintons. They're people that were working for them. Miguel Lucel, who worked on their campaign, gave them $1 million, was a partner for the man that was put in charge of Port Canaveral. And beyond that, Varkey Gems working with the Jafars, with Bill Clinton, through the Clinton Global Initiative, raised.
Oh, wait. That would be the same Clinton Global Initiative that Jeffrey Epstein was associated with.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
Oh, great.
And so
this is perfect.
It's worse there. There's a component that connects that to this as well.
Oh, perfect.
The Varkey Foundation with the Clintons and the Jafars raised $17 billion for the Clinton Global Initiative. Connected to this.
$17 billion.
Billion.
Okay.
So those are what were called commitments. So they sort of go around to rich, Arab countries, these oil billionaires.
They bundle the money.
Yes, they're like bundlers.
Okay, Alan. So what has 60 Minutes and 2020 done on this? The New York Times, the Washington Post, those great investigative journals. What have they done on this?
They've done absolutely nothing.
Oh.
And we actually got on the ground. We were approaching, you would think that, for example, local affiliates of the big networks and even Fox affiliates, all of them you would think would be interested in the story. They would look at the material and say, "Oh, we'll get back to you," and then you never hear anything.
We'll get back to you?
Yeah,
seriously?
I actually ran into Major Garrett, who was the White House correspondent for CBS Evening News. Ran into him at a Trump event.
Yeah.
And handed him our 100-page report on Gulftainer. He spent about 20 minutes looking at it.
Yeah.
And never heard from him again. It never got onto CBS News. It was buried.
So he didn't say, "Hey, I got to take this to 60 Minutes. This is huge."
No, this was shut down. Completely shut down. This is a threat to the Obama administration because they engineered this whole deal. Now, getting back to what is the threat, when a container comes in from overseas, it comes on a container ship. Then these are intermodal containers. What that means is that it can be different modes of transportation, whether it's trucks on the highways or trains. So you've got this material coming in that could include, actually include these Caliber missiles, which are Russian missiles that can then be put on trains and trucks and sent to every hamlet in the United States. But was really disturbing was which ports Gulftainer was most interested in. So the first port they actually tried to get into was the port of Jacksonville. Now, Jacksonville is right on the Florida-Georgia state line. Just north of that state line is Kings Bay, Georgia. That is home to the U.S. Navy's basically Atlantic fleet of ballistic missile submarines, the Ohio-class submarines. That's part of our nuclear triad. The nuclear triad is a combination of submarines, missile silos, and aerial bombers like the B-52s and the B-2s. Mm-hmm. The three of those are basically our last line of defense and deterrence against Russia and increasingly against China and even potentially against Iran and North Korea. So where would our enemies want to get up close and personal? They would love nothing more than to be able to launch a preemptive strike from a couple miles away from our submarine bases. So they actually tried to get into Jacksonville. Fortunately, Jacksonville shut them down. So then they sort of went underground, secretly negotiated this Project Pelican deal, and then didn't announce it to the media or to Congress or the American people until the executives had actually flown over from the Middle East and were there for the signing ceremony. Like, hey guys, we're here. We're setting up a base right here next to Kennedy Space Center, which is right where we're at the 50th anniversary of the Apollo mission, right where we had this historic missions to the moon, Apollo 13, the Challenger, the Space Shuttle program, and currently all of our top secret Air Force missions, the space plane, SpaceX is there. All of this, Blue Origin, all of this is happening right there. Not only that, but at Port Canaveral, there is also a submarine base that's less active and less well known than Kings Bay or Kitsap out in Seattle, but it's still very important. We test all of our Trident missile launches there. So these guys that were working for Saddam Hussein on his WMD program, and Dr. Jafar is considered the mastermind of Iraq's nuclear weapons program, which was far more advanced than the media would ever want you to know. They're right next to our submarines and our space program.
Okay. Nobody sleeps tight tonight after this. So this agreement is still in place, correct, Mary?
This agreement is still in place now.
Now wait. Now why isn't President Trump blowing this thing out of the water?
Well, remember, all the people that were surrounded initially, President Trump, were people who were, in fact, working against his initiatives.
Yeah, right. True. Well, we're going to do our level best to get this video in front of the president, and the hope is that this entire agreement will be immediately deep-sixed. Mary and Alan, I would like to thank you. You have put your lives on the line for years. Years. In uncovering, you name the story. Very few people in our country and very few people in the world would do that. And you get very little thanks for that. You get a whole lot of grief, but you get very little thanks for it. And on behalf of millions of people, I would like to thank both of you for everything that you have done, everything that you're doing, and everything that you will do. I'm going to have both of you back, if you agree, because I want to go into the Gulftainer situation further, because I know it goes deeper, really deep, and gets even uglier than the picture you've painted. I encourage folks to go to the website, theamericanreport.org, theamericanreport.org. It had, hey, Mary and Alan, tell me if I'm wrong, but theamericanreport.org seems to be a fan favorite of the deep state, because whenever you publish something, they always make a pretty good effort at trying to take this whole site down or manipulate them, right?
Oh, yes, they do. They've been very successful at that. We had to move to a new platform, and yeah.
So, theamericanreport.org, is there any other site that we encourage folks to go to?
Yeah, the Center for Security Policy.org, and just put Mary Fanning and Alan Jones, and you can bring up quite a bit of our work there. Also, 1776 channel, which is Alan's website.
Mary and Alan, my favorite saying, my father, and you two are the epitome of it. Dream big and dare to fail. Without your dreaming and not without your daring, our country would be in far worse shape. And I thank you both for everything you have done, are doing, and will do. Folks, this is Dave Janda signing off. Until next time, I'd like to thank you for joining us today. I'd like to thank you for networking this information. The more people that know, the more people that become empowered, the safer our country becomes, and the sooner the deep state gets deep-sixed. Until next time, Dave Janda signing off. Dream big and dare to fail. Thanks for your time today.